work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Join the peace police, keep America great.
Hello, friends. Welcome to our broadcast of the Peace Police this week. I'm your host, Rick White, president of the Peace Police. My friend and partner and founder of this org, Lowell Pass, is not here with us today. He's feeling a little under the weather, so keep him in your thoughts and prayers if you would. So this will probably be a little shorter of a broadcast, but that's okay, because we just want to let you know some things about what we're doing and tell you a little bit about the Peace Police. So who are we? What is this thing called the Peace Police? Well, it was started almost at least a year and a half ago, pretty much last summer, when Lowell and I, who we have been friends for decades and decades, we were talking every week. We would talk, and the conversations got more and more about, man, with Trump being elected, even before the election, through the election, we kept watching some of the crazy stuff that seems to be going on in this country. And it really got unlocked, I think, in the whole era of Donald Trump. It seems like there's a level of hatred and vitriol and violence that has happened. And I will just be honest and give you my impression. And we all come to these discussions based on kind of where we come from. But to me, it seems like it's way more coming from the left side of things than the right side. I mean, are there people on both sides that do things that we disagree with? Of course. But the attacks on college campuses and attacks against Trump supporters, even old lady Trump supporters, and all the stuff happening with Antifa. And we saw this stuff, and Lowell called me and he said, man, this is crazy. And then he had a series of dreams, and in these dreams, he saw an org called the Peace Police that would kind of stand up and make a difference. And so that's what we've done. We've started that organization. We're over a year past. We've got over close to 400 people that have been interested in what we're doing, and people are signing up. And so we're just going to talk more about that today. It's really basic. It's very basic. To be a member of the Peace Police, you kind of just got to agree to do what they taught you in kindergarten. And what was that? That was to, be respectful, don't interrupt, don't hit, keep your hands to yourself, be polite, say please and thank you, don't take things that aren't yours, don't use bad language. All these things we learned in kindergarten. But it seems like all bets are off now, the kinds of things that are thrown around. So the Peace Police, what happened was Lowell called me and told me of this idea. And so what we did is came up with a few things to kind of support what we're doing. And one of those things you heard when you saw this intro video, and that's a song that I've created called Spread the Peace. It's available on iTunes. If you just go and search for Spread the Peace by Rick White, you could get that song. I think it's on not just iTunes, it's on iTunes and Google Music and, all the various places you can get electronic music. But anyway, it's a cool song. It talks about how, spread the peace, stop the hate, let's work together before it's too late. And that really talks, leads me to, first of all, if you want to support us, you could buy that song. That would be helpful. But bottom line is we've come up with 3 core values, the 3 things that kind of define what the Peace Police is. These are just what we stand for. And the vision Lowell had was people wearing these hats and being out there. I've got a shirt on that actually has that logo, you can see. And the concept was to be out there, be kind of a calming force if we see people just getting into arguments or getting a little crazy. Our mission is just to say, hey, let's do this conversation, but let's do it with peace, civility, and discourse. Those 3 core values. So let's talk about those. The first core value is peace, and all that means is that as far as it's possible with each other, we're supposed to be at peace. Okay, that's a biblical command, right? And it makes sense. As far as it's possible, Not peace at all costs. You can't have peace at all costs, right? Because then you become a doormat. But I think we all too often get riled up and get out of the peaceful mindset when it's when it's not called for, it's not required. I know I've seen that in conversations with friends, family, and others. That if you tell them that you're a Trump supporter or that you're pro-life instead of pro-choice, things like this, there's no more peace. You're not allowed to have peace anymore because they're in your face about, I've been called evil things, and because I happen to believe that a child is a life worth protecting from the moment of conception. Because I believe that, I have to defend that belief, right? And when I do, I get called horrible names and stuff, and so the peace goes away, and that name calling and those kind of things happens on both sides of the aisle. So this isn't just a Republican or Democrat thing. So that's peace, and the peace just says when that thought comes to your mind of calling somebody a nasty name like a Nazi or baby killer or a fundamentalist wacko, whatever you want to call somebody. Peace says, for the sake of keeping peace right now and furthering the discussion, I'm not going to act on those thoughts. I'm not going to let those thoughts pass my lip. Some of us don't have a filter. Sometimes it's just whatever's in the mind comes out. That especially happens electronically, right? On email and things like that. That's why it's better to talk face to face. You get on email and you just let it fly and you push send and it's gone. It is sent and you can't do anything about it. We need to use our filters a little more. And if we did, we'd have more peace. So that's peace. Civility is kind of on the back of that. I've already kind of talked about. Civility means being civil. Being civil. That means being well behaved in public. It means, the word comes from, civilization. It means being a cooperative member of a society doing the things that are good and not bad. So civil unrest is one thing, right? That means you're being civil, or civil disobedience, right? You're being civil, but you may, walk out of an org or do kind of a sit-in, things like that. Those are civil disobedience, right? That means it's something happening, amongst your co-citizens. But civility means just that. It means behaving well in public. It means not calling names, screaming, attacking, putting your hands on people, throwing rocks at people, which has happened, dousing people with water cannons, things like this, or throwing water at the cops, All these different things are uncivility. We can't have it. And then the third is discourse. And discourse just means we should be able to talk as intelligent, adult, mature human beings. We should be able to talk even if we're on opposite sides of a very divisive issue. Can we at least have some discourse about it? And I've certainly lived through some situations where I was told that, no, I don't even want to talk to you because you happen to be conservative or you happen to be a Trump supporter or you happen to be pro-life. Because of that, I don't want to talk to you. This is my safe space. Don't confuse me with your opinions. That never gets us anywhere. We've got to talk. We've got to agree not to yell at each other, even though we're passionate. We've got to agree not to call names. I mean, you can raise your voice. People do that all the time. Are you allowed to do all that stuff? Yes. Is it beneficial? No. And what happens when we get uncivil is the tensions rise and they escalate and they escalate. And that's what Lowell and I saw a year and a half ago, and we started getting real worried about it. Now, guess what? In less than or right around a year, oh my gosh, from like very soon, a year and a few weeks, we're going to have another national presidential election, and Donald Trump's on the ticket. And if he wins, because of the political climate and the way people have been behaving for these last, 3 years, really more than 3 years, I'm nervous about what could happen in our country. And so join us, because we want to be those people that you can have a side. I've already told you I'm conservative. There are people involved in the Peace Police that are liberal. You can have a side. I love my liberal friends. I have several liberal friends who I love with all my heart, I'd give them the shirt off my back because I care about them. And that's the key, right? Is in the end, the key comes valuing people, even if you disagree with them. You know, it's really important. And I've seen families be torn apart. My own family, I've had people that won't talk to me anymore, things like that. This is just nonsense. It's crazy. It's not the way adults are supposed to behave. So that's the Peace Police. I want to show you our website real quick. So let me share that screen, and we'll tell you a little bit of the things you can do. All right, so there's our screen. This is the Peace Police website. It's peacepolice.net. So definitely check out peacepolice.net. You can do a few things here. You can see everything that we're involved with in this first page. You can kind of see what we're about. It goes through those core values. And down at the bottom, you'll see a place where you can become a patron. And that's on Patreon. If you wanted to help support us, that would be great. We go into deeper detail about our core values on the second page here. So you can read about those. Here's the theme song. And it's got the lyrics, and you can take you right to iTunes to buy it. And it's a cool tune, man. And it'd be great to play it. Wouldn't it be awesome? And this isn't just for me to kind of pat myself on the back or get accolades, but wouldn't it be awesome if this homegrown song, kind of from someone who's technically a nobody in the music business, you know what I mean? But if this homegrown song took off. Without the help of big record labels or whatever. That would be great because the words are just, really about everything that we're about. And it's hard to disagree with them, even if you're far on the other side of the political spectrum to me. I see Patsy Ryder Harper on there. Hi, Patsy. And she wished me happy birthday. Thank you for that, Patsy. You're awesome. That was a few days ago. So that's the theme song. If you click Join the Peace Police, you can go in here and put your first name, last name, and email address, and you're agreeing to these 5 statements, which are very, very basic. Like things like, I promise that if I interact in any public discourse that becomes hostile, hateful, or violent, I will not engage in any hostile, hateful, or violent speech or actions, and instead will seek to be a calming influence. This is what we're talking about. This is all we're talking about, is those kinds of things. Just being that good calming influence that says, let's take a step back, take a deep breath, and try to dissuade the escalation. Fill these 3 fields out, and it'll actually generate a certificate, a PDF that you can print out and display that looks really good, that says, hey, I joined the Peace Police. I'm a member of the Peace Police. If you click on Message from the Founder, you'll see a message from my friend and brother Lowell. He talks about kind of how he came up with this idea, the story I've told you. And that's really good to read, so you can really see where we're coming from. Lowell is definitely our visionary. Lowell's the one who had these kind of, interesting dreams in the beginning. And he's, we wouldn't be here without Lowell. So there's that. There's a section called Know Your Rights. We put a few things in there from time to time. Freedom of expression in the United States. You need to know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. You're allowed to almost say anything, believe it or not. Even hateful speech, you're allowed to do it. That's what the First Amendment guarantees. It doesn't mean that it's a good thing to call people names, but you do have the right to call people names, believe it or not. So knowing your rights is one thing. Knowing what is right is something completely different, right? But we want you to know your rights. You know what you don't have a right to do? You don't have a right to put your hands on me in public, right? You don't have the right to throw something at me. You don't have the right to hit me or touch me in any way. You don't have the right to prevent me from going to my job or block passage where I can't do certain things. You know what I mean? So there's certain rights that you need to know. And that's that section right there. Then if you go to shop, this is where I want to talk about this hat that I'm wearing. These hats, we really have a vision of these getting out there. We've definitely sold a few. We've got more to sell. We'd love to see you. These are high quality. We spent a lot of time trying different sample hats until we got one that was very high quality. So they're high quality, and I'm going to switch switch here. But if you go to the shop, you can get discounts. It's $19.99, but you can get more, a greater quantity, and get various discounts. But if I switch back to the camera here, you'll see I'm wearing this hat, and this stuff right here is embroidered. It's embroidered. It's not a decal, and it's a very cool hat. And I got to tell you, every time I wear it outside, I wear it to a restaurant or during my day, people say, that's interesting. What's that all about? And then I just tell them what it's about. I tell them about how it's an organization that stands for peace, civility, and discourse. I tell them to go to peacepolice.net. I write it down for them. I give them a card, and I say, go there, check it out, sign up. So you can do those things to support us, include getting a hat. You can also tell people about our Facebook page, which is where you are right now if you're seeing this. If you're seeing this, like the page, okay? If you're watching it, like the page. And then share that page on your Facebook homepage, on your profile, and say, hey, these guys are doing something that I think is worthwhile. You should support them. That's all it takes. We all have friends. I think I have 1,300 friends on Facebook. Whether you have 50 or 5,000 friends on Facebook, when you post something like that, it could help us. So that's what we're about. A little bit shorter broadcast today because my friend Lowell is not with us. So again, peace, civility, and discourse. Be the solution. Be a calming influence out there. If you find yourself getting angry, watch your words, okay? Let's not resort to name calling. Let's have the discourse, but let's do it with peace and civility. And then tell others about the Peace Police. Get a hat, go listen to the song, download the song. All those things will help us. Thanks for tuning in today. God bless you, and we will see you next time.
Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Spread the peace, stop the hate. Let's work together before it's too late. Now brave men died to keep you free. They paid the greatest price, so you could speak your mind and live a long and happy life. But I turn on the news and see us fighting with each other.